Could a team with all point guards dominate the NBA? Today's game is littered with talent at the point guard position, and many even call it the golden age of point guards. A stark contrast from the league that was dominated by centers for so very long. From Steph Curry to Chris Paul to Damian Lillard to Russell Westbrook, there is hardly a night off in the NBA at the premier position. So that makes us think, could a team that consists of only point guards dominate in today's game? Watch the rest of the video to find out. The average height in today's game is around 6'7". Most of the players shorter than that height are guards, specifically point guards. It's no secret smaller players tend to have better ball handling skills, are quicker, and have elevated court vision and awareness. Today's game with more spacing and a 24-second shot clock makes those traits even more important. This is why small ball was born. Small ball has been around the NBA for some time. Coaches such as Don Nelson and Mike D'Antoni are famous for throwing out smaller lineups and instructing them to increase pace to try and take advantage of taller, often slower opponents. Oftentimes this strategy worked, but more often than not in history, it has fallen short of a championship. Golden State used small lineups in moderation with guys like Steph, Iggy, Clay, Draymond, and Livingston. Could we do the same in 2020 with just point guards? After watching Golden State make 5 consecutive finals with smaller lineups, it's definitely possible to construct a team of floor generals that could flourish. Staying with the Warriors, those teams were able to run teams off the court using spacing, ball movement, player movement, and up-tempo attack. No position is more well-equipped to do these things than point guards. Before we kick off, let's denote that LeBron James and James Harden, who are primarily wings, are often considered point guards because of their ball handling duties. But for this video, we will make more of a pure point guard list, so they will not be included. With that being said, let's build our team. To start, we would select Steph Curry, the engine of the Warriors dynasty, who would be able to be just as effective without the ball in his hands, because there's only one ball for 5 point guards, and a lot of time will be spent off the ball. With a career shooting slash of 47.6 field goal percentage, 43.5% three-point percentage, and 90.6 free throw percentage, it's no accident Steph is considered by many to be the greatest shooter of all time. His wizardry with the ball makes him a threat to get that sweet stroke off the minute he crosses half court. Steph also provides the team with a championship pedigree and selfless attitude needed when splitting reps with other all-NBA level point guards. Our next selection would be Ben Simmons. On a team full of capable perimeter shooters, Ben would be able to have ideal spacing while maximizing his other strengths. Much like Magic Johnson, Ben Simmons at 6'10" is able to effectively see over defenses and find open teammates. The 2 biggest areas Ben supports our all-point guard team is with his defense and rebounding. Ben is a legitimate challenger for an all-NBA defensive selection this season by displaying versatility guarding all 5 positions. And he's the league leader this season in steals per game, with 2.1 a game. On a team that sacrifices height, Simmons being able to defend, rebound, and push the break makes his skill set invaluable. If Steph is the premier distance shooter in today's game, then Damian Lillard is certainly second. Dame has proven to be one of the clutchest performers of his generation. Dame drills pull-up threes at a rate higher than everyone but James Harden. Dame brings a takeover element to this team that will instill fear in opposing defenses. Dame is 10th all-time in 50-point games with 9, and he's only 29 years old. In Portland, teams are able to key in on him and often trap him, forcing the ball out of his hands. On a team full of playmakers and shooters, teams wouldn't be able to do that. Dame against single coverage is a scary thought for the opposition. Also, much like Steph when he's off the ball, he would improve our team's spacing. The next floor general we'd take is the Slovenian sensation. No, we're not looking at you, Goran. Luka Doncic is the selection. Much like Ben, Luka would bring some needed size to the lineup, standing at 6'7". The first-time All-Star has been a revelation and has brought Dallas back into the playoff picture for the first time since 2016. Luka has been so magical, the Mavericks, a team with no other All-Star, ranks number 1 in offensive efficiency in the NBA this season, at 1.131. The comparisons to a second-year LeBron James aren't absurd. Luka is as polished as they come, having played professional basketball overseas since he was 16 with Real Madrid. Luka's shot creation and playmaking skills make him an easy fit alongside our other point guards. And with his ability to rebound at 9.3 a game in 2020, teams would be at his mercy as a break starter running alongside an athlete like Simmons and marksmen like Steph and Dame. He might be 21, but he's only the third player ever to put up averages over 28 points, 8 assists, and 9 rebounds, joining Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robinson. If Luka can orchestrate the #1 offense in Dallas, I'm certain he could help elevate our all-point guard team. Our final selection is the point guard, Chris Paul. At age 35, Paul has shown no signs of slowing down and is still among the elite at his position. Paul's IQ and low turnover numbers is what makes him the perfect selection for this group. Chris Paul has a career 4.1 assist to turnover ratio, which ranks him #1 all time over the likes of John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Magic Johnson, and Steve Nash. Paul doesn't compromise spacing whatsoever, being one of the most consistent shooters at the position as well. Perhaps his biggest contribution would be his defense, despite standing at just 6 feet tall, and that's being generous. Paul is a 6-time steals champion, which no one else has come even somewhat close in league history. No one else has more than 3. Paul isn't just a gambler, however. He's constantly made life tougher on opposing ball handlers and bigger opponents, evident by his 9 All-NBA defensive selections. The 10-time All-Star is dependable and competes to the point that it might even rub some off the wrong way. For this team, we need confidence, and the CP3 brings just that. 2 honorable mentions are Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving, who are among the very best at the point guard position. Westbrook, while ultra-talented, distorts spacing with Simmons on the floor due to his poor outside shot and isn't as effective without the ball in his hands. Irving, meanwhile, has always proven to be more of a pure scorer. He's a shooting guard in a point guard's body. One of the best finishers at the rim with an impeccable shot, but with Steph and Dame on our team, his strengths seem a bit redundant. The same could be said for Trae Young. These guys would be next in line. Stylistically, our team would play up-tempo, looking to space opponents out and shoot many three-pointers. Today's game benefits speed and quickness because with freedom of movement rules, it becomes an impossible task to defend these elite ball handlers when they are surrounded by equal talent. Height will always matter in the NBA, but recent findings has shown that sacrificing some size for an increase in skill actually does you better. This has led to the extinction of slow-footed, paint-limited bigs. For example, Al Jefferson, Roy Hibbert, and Jared Sullinger. It is also why you see so many taller players working on their ball handling skills, perimeter shooting, and cutting down on weight. Shaq might not be a fan of this, but it's a league-wide approach and you can either adapt or be left behind. Even with the influx of taller players with perimeter talent, those guys are distributed across the league, making our point guard lineup the toughest pure small ball lineup the league has ever seen. The team possesses a perfect blend of shooting, playmaking, finishing, defense, and basketball IQ. This lineup could effectively force teams to have to substitute their center, and then you're playing their game. Concerns with rebounding and interior defense might make some look at this like a gimmick. However, I'm certain in 2020, with the lack of true dominant bigs, that those areas would not be exploited at the level most would think. The Rockets, who have been using this approach since they dealt Capella, won 6 consecutive games to close out February. Since the trade, they had wins over the Lakers, Jazz, and the Celtics twice. With the all-point guard team's improved lineup and approach, it's silly to question whether or not this team could dominate, seeing the success the Rockets have had. The playoffs are all about matchups and adjustments, and it's hard to believe any team will have the personnel to defend this lineup. This lineup could be among the few title contenders in today's game. Would this team dominate in today's NBA? Highly likely. The more appropriate question would be, could this team win the title in 2020? Would you make any changes to the lineup? Did we forget a point guard? Who would be the best selections for the second unit? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Also, now that you're here, leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this video. And remember, turn notifications on to receive more amazing sports content. We hope you enjoyed our video. We'll see you next time at Baller Central.